What's up, seniors? Checking in. Hope all is well with y'all. About to kick off a new video here. Check out the new crusty mustache that we're rocking out because I'm bored and I'm gonna start curling this because that's just how I do. Um, Big timing. So here's what we're gonna do. Um, I'm gonna post videos over the next couple of weeks. We're gonna move into our new unit here about macroeconomics. Um, Make sure you're watching the videos, following along. There are going to be questions I'm going to want you to answer in the videos, so you're going to have to actually watch them. And then I'll explain a little bit more about how you're going to answer the questions when I post in the classroom. But today's video is going to just be pretty short. It's going to be on the first few slides of the macroeconomics unit. And yeah, it shouldn't be that long. Okay. Also, be on the lookout. There's going to be a worksheet that I'll post in the classroom this week as well. Okay. So here we go. So if you haven't already, go to the classroom, open up the macroeconomics PowerPoint. It should just say macro on it in Google Slides. So I'll give you a second to do that, or if you want to pause, you can do that as well. All right, so let's go ahead, jump straight into it. Go to slide 2, please. Slide 2, that's your warm-up. I want you to answer that question in a Google Doc, and then at the end of the week, I want you to email me. Every one of these videos is going to have a 1, maybe 2, at most 3 questions. I want you to just keep a running list on a Google Doc somewhere. Put the date for today. Or make sure you identify like what slide number I might be asking the question on. That way you just keep track for yourself, and also you can go back when you want to review for the test and use some of this stuff to help you out on the test when we take that in a couple weeks. So the warm-up, just want you to answer this on a separate Google Doc and then email me at the end of the week your response. Email me like on Thursday or Friday, or once you've done all your work for the week, email me just in one email. Because if you email me like 3 different things, then things get lost. It's easier if you just put everything in one email. It makes my job a lot easier, and it's just more efficient that way. Okay? So answer that warm-up question. And the question is, you can only keep one of the 3 images to the left. Which one you keeping, and why? You can't sell anything. That iPhone being the newest iPhone, not like that's like an OG iPhone, but I think of the newest iPhone, $100 bill or an A plus, right? And then just tell me why. It should be like 2-3 sentences. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. But actually, before we go to the next slide, just to talk about what this unit's going to be about, macroeconomics. This is kind of our last unit, and I'm doing it earlier than usual just because of the circumstances. We lost a lot of projects and things I wanted to do with you. But macroeconomics, this is the last unit really that is going to be, it's going to help you understand, especially what's going on in the world right now, understanding why economically things are like pretty tough right now, why people are losing jobs. Like all that stuff maybe you might not know about. Hopefully you'll have a better idea at the end of this unit. Macroeconomics looks at the global, macro, big-time money, big-time spending, policies that kind of affect day-to-day life. Okay? Let's go to slide 3 now. So to begin, when we're talking about macroeconomics, I'd like to start at money and currency. So money is a good that is widely accepted for purposes of exchange or repayment of debt. Let me flex on y'all real quick. You know how it is out here. So I got the wallet. You know how it is. Just big timing out here. You know. Got a fan off, right? You know how it is. So this is money, okay? Now, money can come in different forms, okay? This is money that is accepted in America, but it's not going to be accepted in other places in the world. If all of a sudden today we said, you know what, television remotes are going to be the new money. This is a $1. This is like a $1 television remote. This is like a $5 television remote. That could happen. It's unrealistic, but that could happen. Money's just a medium of exchange. It's just something that's used to exchange. The reason we use paper and or coins, it's easy to fold, put in your pocket, keep track of. You can't really put remotes in a wallet. It doesn't work that way. So that's why paper and coins are popular across the world. If you go back in time, jewels, gold, silver, things like that were popular. Go back in time, when we went to barter economy, right? People had like hard goods like meats and lumber and textiles and things like that were used as exchange, except it wasn't really considered money. This is really what we think of as money. Now, currency is the next part of this. Currency are coins and paper that are used by a specific country. For our country, the Federal Reserve is in charge of kind of printing and distributing money. Now, we'll talk about this in a second, and your worksheet's going to be on this, but $5 here in the United States, this is what it looks like, okay? But if you go to Mexico, they don't call their bills dollars, they call it pesos, right? If you go to Canada, it would be like the Canadian dollar. If you go to Europe, they use the euro. If you go to other countries, like Japan uses the yen. So dollars are only really exclusive to the US dollar is exclusive mainly to the United States. And we're going to talk about how currencies change and whatnot, okay? But that's currency, so that's the difference, okay? Last thing that I have here on the slides is the money supply. The money supply just talks about the amount of money that's in circulation, and that's including pretty much anything that's in a checking account. So when you get like a paycheck from your work and you put it in a checking account, that'll be a part of the money supply. Any currency that's like in circulation, that's going to be in the money supply. Traveler's checks, which aren't really used anymore because we have credit cards. Traveler's checks were used kind of back in the day when you had to convert your money. But in the era of credit cards, I don't even know why I have that in the slides anymore. You don't need to know traveler's checks. But pretty much, the money supply is important because the money supply is a good way of tracking the economy, how it's growing, or if it's hypothetically decreasing, like right now. There's less money in the money supply than there was a few months ago because we are in a huge economic downturn because of coronavirus. And we're going to get to that and how that changes and whatnot. But at a baseline, I want you to know the main difference between money and currency. Money is just a medium of exchange, typically in bills and coins. Currency is what's used by a specific country. Okay? Let's go away here to the next slide, which is slide number 4. It's going to be our last slide of the day. And what I want you to take a look at is all the different types of currencies found around the world. And these aren't all still around today. I pulled a lot of these from before Europe had the euro. A lot of the individual European countries had their own currency. So, for example, you have the lira, which is right next to the U.S. dollar bill. That's the Italian dollar bill. You have the yen on there. South Africa has the rand. There's a peso on there. There is a euro on the bottom left. I got the Canadian dollar bills. The Canadian ones are dope. They're colored and they're plastic, so that means you can get them wet. There was like a funny meme going around. It's like when coronavirus hits, you got to wash your money because you could wash your Canadian dollar bills and they'd be fine. It's kind of funny. Look up the video. And then what's the old guy here? I gotta look. Is it the German? Yeah, it's the Deutschmark. And those are the Deutschmarks in the top right corner and mid left. Currency is going to be different around the world. And the worksheet you're going to do is you're going to figure out kind of the currency exchange rates from the US dollar to a lot of these different countries, and you're going to figure out like all these different countries' currencies. But pretty much, we this is the point of the class where I'd ask you: has anyone ever been in across the world, or has anyone ever gone to a different part of the world and had to use a different currency? And I would show you this thing, the exchange rate. But what happens is if you go somewhere where the United States dollar isn't used and you want to have like hard currency to use instead of just using like a credit card, you have to get your money exchanged because obviously if I went to Italy, they're not going to take Mr. Lincoln here on the $5 bill. Okay. If I went to Mexico, you might use a peso, etc., so on and so forth. But money is valued differently depending on where you are in the world. And there's various factors that affect how valuable a country's currency is. If a country has, for example, a lot of businesses that are doing very well, if they're producing a lot of goods in their country, that's going to make their currency very valuable. Because if you were to follow kind of the money line of things, like for example, the United States dollar, it's very valuable. It's one of the most valuable currencies in the world. That and the euro are like the top two. And the reason those two currencies are the most valuable is because if you think about the majority of the world economy and where world businesses are based out of or where they're headquartered, a lot of them are either going to be in Europe and also in the United States. Apple, Google, think of all these major American economies, all the big banks, right? So eventually, if I bought a iPhone, but I lived in Australia, eventually that money that I spent on the iPhone, after it's paid to all the people, the factory in China, the mine workers in Africa, so on and so forth, eventually a lot of that money is going to end up back in the United States. And so that increases the value of the dollar because there's going to be an increase in the money supply for the American dollar. So to really just dumb it down, because that might be confusing, the stronger a country's economy is, typically the more valuable its currency is going to be. The weaker a country's economy is, the less business that's there, the less valuable their dollar is going to be. And there's a lot of different factors that go into affecting exchange rates. And I mean, we could spend a whole week talking about the exchange rate, but this is an AP class. And if you ever took a business class in college, you could really get into it. But simply put, the stronger an economy, the better the more valuable its currency is going to be. The weaker an economy is, the less valuable its currency is going to be. All right. So keep on the lookout for that. The worksheet I'm going to post some point today, and also make sure to answer the warm-up question that's on slide 2, and just turn all that stuff into me because I'm going to be posting more videos throughout the week. Get it to me when you're all done. Probably by Thursday or Friday. I won't be posting anything new after Thursday. So keep a look at that, and if you have any questions, comments, or concern, let me know. Hello? I gotta go, guys. Sorry. My money's talking. Deuces.